Hey everyone, Kate Boorer and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's Facebook Live, where we're starting to dig into a conversation around burnout. And we've seen the Women's Agenda 2023, I think it's the Women's Ambition Report come out, talking about two of the biggest barriers to women achieving their career ambitions. 42% of women are concerned about burnout, 41% say confidence in their abilities could get in the way. So two really big important topics, Fee, that we know a lot about because we're talking about this every week in our Acts of Confidence program. But I think it's really valuable to have a conversation around, firstly, what is burnout? What are the symptoms? And then we can talk a little bit, I guess, around the conversations we have in this space.
Yeah, I think it's something that comes up very frequently in our work. And it's often actually at the point of that exhaustion that people are going, well, what do I do now? How do I actually navigate through? I think when we look at what burnout is, there's lots of definitions, but there's three kind of combination factors that are usually going on. And the first is complete exhaustion, a sense that, emotionally, physically, and, mentally, I'm kind of done. I'm exhausted. It's also this disengagement from things that give me purpose and my responsibilities in my workplace. And also we've also got this reduced performance and productivity because we're feeling exhausted and disengaged. And I think the combination of this makes it really hard to show up at work and contribute in the way we've been capable of in the past. And that can often feel really confronting for people.
Yeah, I think, in that report, yes, it's a barrier to achieving my career ambitions, but secondly, 77% of women said that they had experienced burnout in the last 12 months. I think there's an interesting conversation. A decade ago, burnout wasn't really in our language. We wouldn't have talked about it. So there has been this evolution of language. Of course, you then take a look at the environmental landscape in organisations. We've just finished a few weeks talking about psychosocial safety, but equally, I guess, the expectations that organisations have on their people, the compressing of roles, responsibilities as well. And, that's a bit of a rabbit hole we won't go down. But I think it's worth thinking about that in a broader context. But there's lots that organisations can do. And we saw, lots of great work and initiatives implemented through COVID around workplace wellbeing, and many have continued post-COVID as well. I think our work, though, really sits firmly in how do we support individuals to have agency over the choices they make, the actions they take. And I think if we zoom back out, for us, there is a real blend between what we talk about in our Acts of Confidence program and the context of confidence and burnout as well.
Yeah, I think the big conundrum for organisations is I think they want to provide good quality environments. We don't want to have environments where people are getting burnt out. But in a lot of cases, people are not very well resourced to navigate through this themselves. And I think that's where our work really fits, because what we know is after decades of doing things a certain way, and this is particularly true of the women we work with, there's a whole lot of very good reasons why they tend to overcommit and say yes to things even though they want to say no, why they end up taking on too many tasks at once, why they don't feel as though they can say, I'm at capacity. And there's good reasons for that. And if we're not equipped to know how to do these things well, to be able to lean into difficult conversations or defend, our boundaries, then we are going to end up in a state of overwhelm and, inevitably burnout. And so the earlier that we can recognize what's happening and be willing to do something, which is where our Acts of Confidence works starts, is starting to understand what's going on for me and what choices am I going to make that will mean I'm not caught in this kind of perpetuating cycle.
I think our work is all about, recognizing and enhancing self-awareness to recognize what's going on for me. Active confidence, number one, get clear and make decisions. We see, a 28% increase of women having more clarity about what they want in career and life. And so that ability to understand who am I, where am I at, what's going on for me, what is it that I want. Of course, when we get that clarity, it's then about the choices we make, the actions we're taking to bring that clarity to life, right? And to align that with my life choices and the actions I'm taking. Of course, things get in the way, right? excessive workloads, other priorities, family responsibilities, all those sorts of things. And so the second part of our work really starts to dig into what are the roadblocks and red flags that get in the way that I may want career progression, but there is thoughts, stories, feelings, self-doubt getting in the way of me actually pursuing that. And so the important piece, which is really what's unique, I think, to our work fee, is we help people get clear about what they want, but very rarely do people talk about what's stopping you from going after what you want. What we know is when you remove those roadblocks, right? And most of the time, what we're doing is mindset work, right? We're actually supporting women to recognize what's going on for them, right? Why aren't they going after or putting their hat in the ring for that promotion now, even when they don't feel 100 or 120% ready? What's going on there? And challenging some of those stories they're telling themselves so that they will actually step into active confidence number 3, ask for what you want. They will be able to set and enforce boundaries, active confidence number 6, and say no to opportunities, for example, that don't align with their values.
Yeah, I think the important piece here is the getting clear and recognizing what's going on for you and being willing to take a different choice and to do something that you before would have assumed I can't do, or I won't do, or if I do it, something bad's going to happen. And that's why being in a very supportive environment and being wrapped around by good quality coaches and a cohort of like-minded professional women really does a lot of the work, because you're in the process of learning and having that mindset shift alongside other people. And it feels so much more doable in that environment. I'm seeing others give this a go. Not everything's going perfectly, but everyone's trying together, and that shifts something. And I think this is why all of our work really focuses on those small acts of confidence. What's the one thing I could do differently now that if I did it would have a material impact on my workplace environment, on my workplace experience? And I think, one of the big ones for us is really resourcing women to get good at asking for help. It's something that we have a very tricky dynamic with. We often think it'll make us look weak or incompetent. We've been used to being, very self-reliant. And so this idea that actually it's a good thing to ask for help can feel really confronting for people. And it does take almost a complete rewiring of our mental model around this to be willing to go, actually, it's a good thing to ask for help. It's a good thing to speak up. It's a good thing to get others involved. From a leadership point of view, we know it's really important from a collaboration, dynamic. So the important thing here is how we support women to see the value in doing something they haven't done for good reasons, or their previous default assumptions and beliefs, and reframe that so that this is now the path forward.
I think lots of great conversations, right, around supporting awareness raising, recognizing what we know is often some of the fears and self-doubt that are getting in the way of really alignment between what is it that I want and what I'm willing to ask for, what I'm willing to take action on, what I'm willing to make choices about, and doing that in a way that feels safe for me as well. We're going to leave it there. If you enjoyed today's confidence conversation, we'd love for you to hear from you in terms of feedback. And of course, we'd also love for you to share this with anyone who you know may benefit from this conversation. If you'd like to dig into deeper to our work, head over to our Facebook Live. Lots of great Facebook Lives done for many years now over the weeks. And if and when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, head to our website, coreconfidence.com.au. We are enrolling our final cohort of the Acts of Confidence program, which kicks off on the 4th of October. So if this is something you want to dig into a little bit deeper around what's going on for you, access an incredible community, and importantly, some really valuable resources, drop us a note and we can talk to you about whether the Acts of Confidence program is a good fit for you.